David felt his world trembling under him. If it looked too close to his plate? If the image was blurry? Would that be enough to charge him? He couldn't breathe. It took another 45 minutes. When Detective Parker returned, her entire demeanor had changed. She no longer looked skeptical. She looked stunned. She sat across from him and folded her hands. "Mr. Carter, you didn't do it." David stared at her. "What?" She exhaled deeply. "We reviewed the traffic camera footage. The suspect vehicle is a 2014 Toyota Corolla, same color as yours. But the camera captured a clear view of the rear bumper." David's pulse accelerated. "It wasn't your plate," she finished. "Not even close." He closed his eyes, overwhelmed. "But there's more," Detective Parker continued. "The footage shows the hit-and-run driver turning left onto Brookline at 8:59 p.m. We cross-checked your car's movement. You left the community center at 9:03 p.m. David let out a shaky laugh. "So, 4 minutes after the hit-and-run?" "Yes," she said. "There's no possible way you were involved. You were still in the parking lot at the time of the incident." Relief hit him so hard he nearly slumped over. Detective Parker added softly, "I'm sorry for what you went through." "Truly." David didn't reply. He wasn't ready for gratitude. He was still stuck on the image of guns pointed at him, all because his car looked like someone else's. The officers processed David out quickly afterward. His personal items were returned. The sky outside was darker now, empty and late. The cool air brushed his face like an unwelcome stranger as he stepped out of the station. Erin was waiting for him in the car. The moment she saw him, she burst into tears and ran to him. "David, oh my God, I've been calling for hours. I thought something happened. He held her tight. "It's okay. It's okay now." But it wasn't okay. Not yet. David tried to sleep that night. He couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he was back on Carson Avenue, blinded by lights, heart pounding, unable to move without someone shouting at him. The next morning, his hands shook when he poured his coffee. Erin touched his shoulder gently. "You didn't deserve any of that." "I know," he whispered. "But it won't matter to them. They'll just say the system worked." Erin hesitated. "It did work, eventually." He shook his head. "Eventually isn't good enough." A week later, David drove past the intersection where he had been stopped. His heart thudded uncomfortably, but he forced himself to keep going. He realized something then. Something that chilled him. Without that traffic camera, without that one angle, one lucky shot, he might still be a suspect. He might have been charged. His life might have been dismantled in hours. All because of a car that looked like his. All because of assumptions. All because they believed the worst before checking the facts. Detective Parker called David the next day. "The real suspect has been identified," she said. "The plate from the video matched a vehicle stolen 2 days earlier. We found it abandoned near the river." David let out a slow breath. "Good," he said. There was a pause. "For what it's worth," the detective added, "the traffic camera prevented a serious mistake. You should know that." David nodded even though she couldn't see him. "Yes," he said softly. "I know." But what he also knew, what he could never forget, was how quickly things had gone wrong. How thin the line between innocence and suspicion truly was. And how a single camera, a silent, unblinking witness, had been the only thing to save him. It was supposed to be a simple evening. At 9:08 p.m., David left the community center after finishing the Tuesday night woodworking class he helped teach. His hands smelled faintly of cedar shavings, and he was humming to himself as he got into his silver 2014 Toyota Corolla. The air was crisp, early autumn, with a hint of wood smoke drifting in from somewhere across town. He texted his girlfriend Erin. "Heading home now. Save me some chili?" Her typing bubble popped up. "Only if you promise not to complain it's too spicy this time." David smiled, started the car, and pulled onto Denning Road. The streetlights stretched long yellow lines across the pavement. It was quiet, too quiet, just the hum of the engine and the steady beat of the soft rock playing low on the radio. He was thinking about nothing in particular when he turned onto Carson Avenue. That was when everything changed. A sudden siren cracked open the silence like a bullet. David's eyes shot to the rearview mirror. An SUV police cruiser was flying up behind him, lights flashing, engine roaring. "What the?" he whispered. Another cruiser barreled around the corner a moment later. And another. Within seconds, 3 police vehicles boxed him in on the narrow 2-lane road. David's breath hitched. He slowed. Signal on. Hazard lights blinking. Hands at 10 and 2. The cruiser behind him blared its loudspeaker. Driver of the silver Toyota, pull over immediately. David's pulse thudded in his ears. What did I do? He said aloud, but no one could hear him. I wasn't speeding. But the cruisers formed a triangle around him, leaving no room to do anything except stop. He pulled into the nearest driveway entrance of a small closed-down garden supply store, gravel crunching under his tires. Okay, he whispered, shaking. Okay. Just stay calm. But calm was gone. Something was very, very wrong. The moment David stopped the car, officers poured out of the cruisers, 4 in total. The sudden violence of motion startled him. Doors slamming, boots scraping, flashlights firing at him like spotlights on a stage. Driver. Turn off the engine. Hands out the window. David obeyed instantly, voice trembling. I'm doing it now. His hands shook as he pushed them outside into the cool night air. Use your right hand only. Throw your keys out of the car. He pulled them free and tossed them out, hearing them skitter across the concrete. Step out. Keep your hands where we can see them. David stepped out, heart slamming against his ribs. The brightness of the lights blinded him, and he squinted as his feet touched the ground. Face away from us. Hands behind your head. He did. In seconds, cold metal snapped around his wrists. Sir, what's going on? David asked. What's wrong? I'm just coming from a class. I don't understand what this is. None of the officers answered. 2 held him firmly while the others searched his vehicle with flashlights, opening doors, checking the back seat, popping the trunk. David's chest tightened as one officer approached him, a tall man with a stern expression and a clipped, measured voice. Mr. Carter? He asked. Yes, David said. Sir, please, what's going on? You are being detained in connection to a hit and run with injury that occurred at 8:59 p.m. on Fairmont Avenue. David blinked. A hit and run? What? No, I wasn't anywhere near. I've been at the community center since 6. I was teaching. There's a sign and sheet, security cameras. Please, you're making a mistake. The officer's jaw tensed. Witnesses described a silver sedan leaving the scene at high speed. Your vehicle matches the description. Your route is consistent with the suspect's direction of travel. That's not possible, David pleaded. Check my phone location. My class ended minutes ago. Sir, the officer cut in. We'll sort this out at the station. The world blurred around David. I didn't do this, he whispered. But he wasn't sure anyone cared. The intake room smelled of cleaning solution and old paper. David's wrists were sore from the cuffs when they were finally removed, but the relief was overshadowed by the knot of panic in his chest. Detective Lynn Parker entered the room, closing the door behind her. She was composed, sharp, calm, too calm. She sat across from him with a folder in hand. Mr. Carter, she began evenly, we're investigating a hit and run that left a cyclist seriously injured. The driver fled. A witness caught part of the license plate, enough to narrow the search. Your car's general description matches. David swallowed hard. But I wasn't there. She opened the folder. At 9:08 p.m., your car was spotted heading southbound on Carson Avenue. Yes, on my way home from the community center. You can check the cameras inside. I swiped my keycard at 6 and leaving at 9:03. Ask anyone there. Detective Parker looked at him more closely. We will, she said. But she didn't look convinced. She flipped a page over. A witness also described the driver as male, average height, brown hair. You fit the description. David felt a hot surge of frustration. A lot of people fit that description. Yes, she agreed quietly. But you were in the right area, at almost the right time, in a car that looks like the one. David rubbed his temples. This is unreal. Look, I understand you're doing your job, but I didn't hit anyone. I wasn't anywhere near Fairmont. Please just check the community center cameras. Detective Parker leaned back, studying him. You seem sincere, she admitted. But sincerity isn't evidence. That hurt more than he expected. She stood. I'm going to review the location timeline and see what we can confirm. She left. And David was alone again. He exhaled in a shudder. The cameras didn't work. The clock was off. Something went wrong. He didn't want to think about the consequences. Time stretched painfully. Every minute felt like an hour. David pressed his palms together, fighting the panic rising in his chest. He tried to steady his breathing, but it came in short, uneven bursts. His mind replayed the stop over and over, the guns, the shouting, the disorientation. He had done nothing wrong. But that didn't seem to matter. The door finally opened. Detective Parker stepped in looking troubled. "Mr. Carter," she said softly, "we're having trouble accessing the community center cameras. Something with the file server. IT says it may take hours." David felt dizziness wash through him. "No. Please, you have to find another way. There has to be some proof. My phone has location tracking. I can show you." "Yes," she said. "I'll need to take your phone for analysis. But that won't be immediate and—" A sharp knock interrupted her. Another officer opened the door and whispered something urgently in her ear. Detective Parker froze. Then she turned slowly toward David. "There's been a development." His stomach dropped. What kind of development? A traffic control camera captured footage from Fairmont and Brookline. It recorded the suspect vehicle leaving the scene at 8:59 p.m. David's breath caught. "And?" Detective Parker inhaled slowly. "It looks like the same make and model as your car." David shook his head vigorously. No. There are thousands of cars like mine. That doesn't prove anything." She held up a hand to calm him. "We're sending the footage to enhancement." Her expression shifted. "But there's also a chance the camera captured part of the license plate."